they didn't know any more about me than two things. My name was Belle, and I was a lady of the night. Well, they found out who I was. See, I knew all along who I was and what I was. So now you're going to find out about old Belle. I was born in 1857 up in Fort Wayne, Indiana. My father, he goes off to war because I was just a little young, and then my mother's left home with me. He comes back after the war, and my mom and daddy and me, we come down to Stewart County, and he becomes a training engineer, which means he's gone all the time. And my mama stuck at home with me. And all my life, she said I wasn't worth a plug nickel. I was nothing more than a burden to her. So I grew up with the idea that that's all I was. I was just worthless. And so at age 17, she kicks me out of the house. And I ask you, what's a woman to do? I couldn't just go out there and get me a job. I didn't have no education. But I noticed down the road, there was this house. My mama says, don't you ever go near that house. Of course, you know I wanted to. So my mama said, don't go to that house. And I saw these pretty women in there. And all these men, they came down there just to see those pretty women in those dresses because I knew I wanted one. And so one day I go down that street and I go right up to the house, and lo and behold, these policemen come out and they grab me and they take me off and put me in a home for wayward girls. Now, how did I get put in the house for wayward girls and I just wanted to see some pretty dresses? I didn't know what it was, but I broke out. I broke out and I go right back to Stewart County. I go right back down that road to that house, and I go in there where all those pretty women are, and I got me an education. I found out how they got all those pretty clothes and so forth. So I started working there. And one day one of the women said, you know, we got too many in here. You're gonna have to go somewhere else. And I thought, where do I go? I know. I heard about this town called Clarksville, Tennessee, and it had two rivers. And I thought to myself, if there's two rivers, there's a lot of riverboats coming in, and on those riverboats there's gonna be men, lots of men. So I come down here and I find me a spot down there. It's called Riverside Drive now, but when I was there it was called Water Street. Well, I set up shop with this man and in this place called, I think it's called the Subway Shop, Sandwich Shop now. So when you go down there, you remember old Belle, because that's where my business was. I got the traffic off of both rivers, and those men got off those boats and they were looking for wine, women, and song, and I said, here I am. So they come in by the droves. And I not only get the roustabouts coming off them boats, but I also start to get some of the port people up there in Clarksville, up in the town center up there. I saw bankers and lawyers and businessmen. They all come to see old Belle because they found out that I had, according to what my headstone says, a heavenly face. So I have all these clients come to see old Belle, so I started making some money. And I decided one day I was going to march myself biggest day up that hill and go in those stores and buy me some of those pretty dresses. Well, as soon as I get up there on the street, I see all my clients, and they go running in these stores like they had something they had to buy real quick. And I mean, the whole street just cleared off. This one man goes into the saddle shop. I knew he didn't have a horse, but he was going to go buy him a saddle. So I'm looking down the street, and I'm walking down biggest day, going to look in those windows, and I saw Miss Goody Two Shoes and Miss Holier Than Thou walking in front of me, and they turned around and gave me that. And so they crossed over across the street and went to the other side. Well, I won't go let that get by me. No, sir. I looked at him and I said, I seen you, Miss Goody Two Shoes and Miss Holier Now. I know you don't want to be seen with me today, but I'll see your husband tonight, both of them. I didn't let nothing like that get by me. No, sir. Well, every summer, there was this outbreak in New Orleans and Memphis called yellow fever. And a lot of people were dying from yellow fever, so they come up here to Clarksville in droves because this is a welcoming city. A welcoming city. So they come up here and they're poor, they're refugees, and all of Clarksville gave money to help these people out. I gave money too. Well, one summer, they printed the names of the people who gave money, and there in the Leaf Chronicle it said, Miss Goody Two Shoes, $2. Mr. Deep Pockets Banker, $3. Belle Terry, $5. My name was in the newspaper. Now, I didn't give that $5 to show anybody up. I remembered what it was like to be poor and left out on the street. I knowed what it was like. So I gave what I could give. Now, I was 35 years old and I contracted a disease that is common to people of my profession. I will leave it at that. Okay, so I died. I died in 1892. I said I died. Let's have a little bit of mourning going on here. Oh, please. Anyway, my business manager who cared for me all the time I was working with him, he resolved in his head, you know what? I'm going to make it known to everybody in Clarksville that if you don't come to her funeral, my clients he's talking about, if you don't come to her funeral and if you don't contribute to her headstone and her funeral plot, I'm going to print your name in the paper. The day of my funeral, all these lanes up here were just covered with wagons and carriages, but they had their curtains all drawn because they didn't want anybody to know who they were. And the only man that got out was a preacher who came out here and said words over my grave. And as soon as that funeral service was over, I'm telling you, they disappeared like, gone. Everybody was gone. I think they were going to the big tent meeting. The big tent meeting was going on the same week that Belle's funeral was going on. And let me tell you who was giving that meeting. Sam Jones himself, the hellfire and brimstone preacher from Nashville, Tennessee, who had the Ryman Auditorium built for him. That's who was in Clarksville. They said they came by the hundreds to hear him. And I'm sure my clients were thinking, am I going to catch hellfire from my wife or from Sam Jones? I don't know, but I'm going to play it safe and come to the tent meeting. I'm surprised that all the vibrations in Clarksville didn't happen on these hillsides and the whole hillside just go falling into the Cumberland River. I'm surprised it didn't happen. But anyway, let me see here who I got. Oh, yes, sirree. You can come see me, you too. Yes. Oh, come here, darling. Come here, darling. Oh, yeah, you come see old Belle.
You don't have any money. I got it.
Well, that's all right. You can leave it with him. Okay, thank you so much for coming. Women, I hope you learned something today. But I got to get back underground because I'm getting a little cold. I don't know why. But anyway, y'all have a good evening. Thank you for coming to see old Belle.
Any questions for her?
I'm recently divorced, by the way.